Hey everybody, so this is a quick little brief reminder about how to solve equations and inequalities. So to solve, it means to undo all your operations around the variable that you're trying to find. So there are a couple ways you could do this. If you're solving by hand, there is a 3-step process here. You're going to distribute when you see parentheses, aka multiply it through. Then you'll combine some like terms if need be, and then undo those operations. So if I add, I'm going to undo it by subtract. And if I'm multiplying, I'll undo it by dividing. Now, you also have another option here, which is you could also solve this by graphing. So you'll type the problem in Desmos, and then it will actually automatically generate your answer. Now, there are a couple phrases of which people will ask you to solve these. You can solve the equation, solve the inequality, but they may also ask you to find the solution. And the solution literally just means to solve. Get me that variable. All right, so let's actually look into an example here. So this first example, I see parentheses. If I were to start this using by hand, I would distribute. After I distribute and make 4x minus 32, I would then add my 32 to the other side. I'll undo the subtraction. And instead of multiplying x by 4, we'll undo that by dividing by 4. So we end up with x equals 7, 28 divided by 4. But you can also do this by graphing in Desmos, by literally typing in your equation and clicking on your x-axis. So literally right here, we see this point at 7. So we could say x equals 7 as our answer. All right, let's try the second example. I know what you guys are freaking out about, this dividing by 11. So how do I undo dividing by 11? I multiply by 11. To get m completely by itself, I'm not going to add by 3, but you got it, subtract by 3. So 22 take away 3 gets us at 19 as our value of m. Now, if we wanted to, we could in fact graph this in Desmos. Please remember that Desmos will not allow you to type the letter m, so you need to replace it with an x. Now, as you go through and graph it, guys, you have to zoom out. Use the little minus sign because you don't see 19 yet. So as you do that, though, you'll see that 19 does appear on your x-axis, so that is our solution. All right, 2 more examples to go. So notice in this third example that instead of adding by 10, we're going to take away by, and instead of multiplying by -4, we undo that by dividing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you are dividing by a negative, which now made your answer -7. We originally were at 28, which is positive on our number line, and now we're down to the negative end of the spectrum, which means that our sign must flip or change when you divide or multiply by a negative. So down here at -7, I'm going to put a closed dot, and why we do that is because this guy is underlined. And then we check which way this symbol is now pointing. So I am literally pointing towards the right, so that's which way I will shade my answer on the number line. So I'm pointing to the right, just like my symbol's facing. All right, now another way you could do this is by Desmos, by literally typing it into Desmos. And you will see your solution as -7. But then you need to tell me which way are you shading. So in blue, we're shading to the right, which means our symbol must be pointing to the right. Since this line is solid, I will underline. I am solid. And then all I need is my variable, my n. So just to recap, guys, which direction the sign is pointing is which way you're shading. And the underline means that we have either a closed dot on your number line, or on Desmos, you'll have a solid line. All right, let's do the last and final example. I would start by adding by 10, not taking away by 10. So we end up getting a 2 on the right side. And here's your favorite part. If you are dividing x by 6, how will I undo dividing by 6? That's right, we'll multiply by 6 on the other side. And 6 times 2 ends up giving us 12. So notice we will start at 12 on our number line. And since I am not underlined in my symbol, I am open dot. I am also facing, or my symbol is pointing to the left. So I am going to shade to the left. Now, if I were to use Desmos, I would literally type it in first. When you go to get your answer, guys, you may have to zoom out because our answer is at 12. So we're literally going to write it as 12 is our solution. Our line is in fact dotted. So because I am a dotted line, I am no underline. And which way am I shading? Well, I'm shading to the left. That's why my symbol points to the left in my final answer. And don't forget to use your variable. So again, this is a dotted line, which means that it is not underlined. Okay? And everything else looks good. All right. So it's your turn to practice. Here we go.